Hello everyone, Dr. Letterman here, and I've just got a quick video show and tell of the equipment and hardware that I have here that I use for online teaching and video recording and those sorts of things. So I'll go ahead and get started. So I have actually two different headphone options. The first is just a Bluetooth in-ear headphone that really helps me when I am on Zoom or trying to do some remote chamber music and listening to the click track or something like that. So those are great if I'm trying to do something like that. But I also have over-the-ear wired headphones that I will use when I am trying to play chamber music online with someone. And so because of the lag that happens through Bluetooth headphones, the wired ones are going to work much better. So I always have those handy if that's the task at hand. So moving into my microphone, I will show you what I have. This is a Blue Yeti, and it's a nice looking microphone, and it's actually quite heavy as well. And what I really like about this is it is a USB microphone, and so it just plugs right into my computer and I don't have to do anything. I just basically turn it on and go. It has a lot of different settings as far as what kind of recording you are thinking of doing. So, right here I'm just talking into the microphone, so I can have this set up so it's only pulling from the front of the microphone. But if there was two people, I could have it pulling from both and grabbing that audio as well. You can set it to record music and have it grab the entire room sound. So there are a lot of options with this. There is a Blue Yeti Pro, which allows you to have also XLR hookup. So if you're putting this microphone into an audio board, that's what you're going to want. So you want to go with the Pro and not just the regular Blue Yeti. But again, the Blue Yeti, really wonderful microphone to be set up super quickly, and very inexpensive. I think I paid about $120 or $130 for this on Amazon, so not too big of a deal there. I also have a webcam. So this is the Logitech C920. It's an HD webcam. It does actually have a microphone on it as well, so you could use that as a microphone. It's not going to be necessarily as good as the Blue Yeti, but it is a step up from your built-in on your computer usually. What's really nice about this is it has an autofocus, so if you're moving around and putting different things closer or further away from the camera, it will focus in on those. The disclaimer on these is that they are out of stock right now, so if you try to buy one, you're going to be paying about 2 or 3 times the price of this if you bought it directly from Logitech. This should cost you $75. So if you're paying more than that, I would recommend to wait. They are, I know, working very hard to get these back in stock, but they are not back in stock yet. So if you are wanting one of these and can wait just a little bit longer, I would suggest that highly. Now, I do also have some lighting options for reed making and just lighting in general. So this is a desktop lamp, and I have some parchment paper in here, and there are different color little gels that go on this as well. There's an amber and then a clear, and I use this for reed making to try and get the reed in my working space lit in a good way when I'm trying to make videos for that. I also have right here, you can't see it because it's lighting me, but this is an umbrella light, something that you would find at someone's photo studio if they are trying to photograph you for some reason, or even for video, because that, of course, that's what I'm using this for right now. The umbrella lamp is about $30 on Amazon. Not too expensive at all. And the desktop lamp, I think I paid $15, and it comes with two. So it's not just one, but two. And they're very, very helpful for sure. Now, one other thing that I do use quite a bit is this, which is a tripod. And the nice thing about this tripod is that it allows me to put my C920 Logitech on here, right here, but I also can pull this out and I can put my cell phone on here. So if I'm just doing some simple recording on my cell phone, this can do that. But if I need to switch over to my Logitech, I can do that as well. So I really like this tripod. It's UBZ is the brand. Again, on Amazon, I think I paid $10 or $15 for this as well. What's really awesome is these move and can be formed in any way that you need, especially if you're in some really weird place and trying to get a good recording and a good angle. This can do that. And that concludes my equipment and hardware that I want to show you. I wanted to share with you some of the software that I use to create a lot of the content that I've been doing, such as video recording, teaching videos, and even live stream recitals and concerts and things. So I'm going to start with my video production softwares, which I'm going to include the webcam settings application, which is a Mac-only application. It's going to cost you about $8. Looks like this. And what it does is some pretty awesome things. It just actually did something because the sun just came out. And what it happens to do is it adjusts my light. So right here, I can change this to manual and make it go completely overexposed, or I can just go back to automatic and it's going to kind of fix things. I think it's a little too bright, so I'm going to come and bring that down just a little bit. The other thing that's really cool about this is the camera itself, of course, has this autofocus. And, you know, if I were to put my arm in front of the camera, it's going to try and focus in on my hand as opposed to focusing on my face here. What it has a lot of problems doing is focusing in on something like this. It's gonna try, but it can't really do it. So what I can do is right here, turn off this autofocus and focus in on the reed myself. And so you can see someone has scraped on this reed, not me, but it allows you to really see the detail that we need. And all I have to do is click auto and I'm back in focus. So this is a really handy dandy tool. There are many other things you can do with it, but largely that's a really two really important things that I would recommend purchasing this for. So in addition to using this, I also have two video production softwares that I use quite regularly, and I do this for many reasons. So I'll start with this. You can see me again, and this is Prism Live Studio. This is completely free. It does not cost you a thing to use, and you can see I've got two videos here. So you see my iPad here a little bit, but you also see my keyboard and you see my hands. And so this camera is something, and setup is something I might do if I'm making reads and trying to create read making videos. Lots of different options here, but in these different scenes, which I don't have any set up right now, it allows me to move to different cameras, different setups as far as mic setups and those sorts of things, which is fantastic. And I put in all of my different setups from here. These are my sources. Right here I have both cameras set up, as well as my external microphone that I use. Now, you can do two things with this. You can do live. So I've got it set up for live right now. I could go live to my YouTube page, my Facebook page, or I could do both at the same time. This has this really awesome ability to do that. But I can also just choose the record tab and I can record some video here. So it's a really quite wonderful application. Allows you to do a lot of different things, which is really helpful. And again, it's free. So I'll go ahead and close Prism Live, and I will show you the other production software I use, which is called OBS. So OBS is a really wonderful software. Again, it's free as well. Just a nice free download, and it has some even better abilities, especially to work in Zoom, which you can see me in right here. So there is the ability to create a countdown screen. So if you are creating a live stream, using the countdown screen can be a really awesome way to gather your audience before you actually want to go live on camera. So I use this quite a bit. You also have the ability to add external devices. So right now, you can see, and my video is a little late, so I will hide this Logitech right here. But what you can see on my screen right now is my iPad. It's a little delayed, so everything that I do is going to be a little slow here. But what's really cool is I can do things like draw in this as you watch. So I can do many different things. But when you're teaching or trying to maybe show your music while you play, and maybe you want to mark up things, I can go ahead and do this sort of thing, which is really helpful when teaching or trying to create some sort of video. So I really like using OBS for this very reason. The other important reason that I will show you that OBS is really helpful is I can turn on what is called a virtual camera. Now it's a separate download, but it is again an OBS sort of thing. You start this virtual camera, and I'm going to go right back to Zoom, and I'm going to choose my OBS virtual camera, and now you see the countdown coming from OBS. So I could move to my iPad setup right here, get this back, and you can see exactly what I'm doing in here in essentially real time from OBS, which is really quite awesome. So I highly recommend using OBS for these two reasons. Again, of course, you can do lots of live streaming and those sorts of things as well. And that's really what this was built for, but it has so many possibilities. The source is very similar to Prism Live. You've got all of these different sources, and then you have the ability to create a bunch of different scenes. It's just set up a little bit differently, but it has the same effect. And the last thing I will talk about is what I'm actually recording this video with, which is QuickTime Player. So in QuickTime Player, you can actually create a movie recording, so just me with my audio, just an audio recording, or what I'm doing right now, which is a screen recording, so you can see everything. And I have Zoom open so you can see me while I'm testing some of these things. So that is my video production softwares. I want to show you my video editing software that I use. I use both Adobe Premiere Pro as well as Adobe Premiere Rush. Both of them have their advantages and their disadvantages, so I want to go through both of them, and we will start with Adobe Premiere Rush. So this software is free. There are a number of Adobe softwares that are free that are available with Creative Cloud, but you don't need a subscription either. And Premiere Rush is one of those, and it's their video editing software that is free. So you can see I've got a lot of projects available that I have worked on. And I'll just show you a little bit of how this kind of works. Get the right one I want to see. So this is essentially like the first project I ever worked on as far as trying to do this whole remote chamber music thing. And you know what I mean by remote chamber music is that I am playing the 3 different parts for the La Ci da Rem La Mano variations, and put them together so that they are sounding all together. So what you're seeing here are the 3 videos, and then this up here is the text that I have. What's really cool about this software, besides being free, is that it's pretty user-friendly. When we get to Premiere Pro, you'll notice that it's a little more cumbersome, but it is a higher ability to have the maybe crazy changes that you might want to do, or just crazy things in general that you might want to do in your video. So over here is a menu that allows you to make a lot of changes. So you've got your title ability here. This is the ability to add some transitions. This is messing with the color. You can change the speed of these clips. The best part, and the one that I use the most, is this audio. If I changed this to voice, I would be able to get rid of background noise, stabilize the volume of it so that it doesn't kind of dip and everything like that. So a podcaster may use this in order to really work with their sound. And then, of course, the ability to crop and change where things are. So like I said, it's very easy to use. It's kind of like Instagram, where the filters are already there and you can just click and choose and go. And then you have the ability to just quickly share. You can share to your various social media sites, or you can do what I do, which is usually just download it to my computer. But lots of ability here, and again, it's free. So that is Rush. Now Premiere Pro, again, is a little bit higher powered of a video editor, and so that of course means it's a little more complicated to use. But you can see there's a lot of things that are very similar. You have the timeline, which we had down at the bottom in Rush. You can see the video you're working on, and up here is essentially the menu instead of being over here. This was a video that really wasn't too terribly difficult to make. It looks really cool, but again, it's just 3 videos, 2 of which I'm playing, and the other is just the same length video with no audio, because of course I was just playing. Some really cool things that you can do to create these kind of videos has to do with the way to make this look seamless, like I'm sitting in the same room together. And it all has to do with this little tool right here. So if I put this to 0, you're gonna see now where those lines are on my videos, and it reveals that I am not twins playing this sort of piece. But I have a tutorial on exactly how to make all these things work. But this is the video software. Again, a little bit more in the bells and whistles, so a little bit more complicated. And this is not free. This comes with your Creative Cloud subscription, which I believe is about $20 a month. And depending on what you're doing and how much you're trying to do, it may be well worth it and it may not be. But that is Premiere Pro, and that is it that I have for video editing software. Hello everyone, Dr. Letterman here, and the last software that I would like to show you is actually a software that allows you to play chamber music with one another live, but not in the same room or even in the same building or state, country, etc. So the application is called Jam Kazam. It is absolutely free. There's a website, but then I would suggest downloading their software to use it. And basically you'll create an account and then you have the ability to add friends. So you're seeing a lot of my colleagues and some of my students that I use this with. So once you get this set up, you want to get your audio and your video gear all set up. So if I choose video gear, I have the option to use any of the three webcams that I have. So I'm going to use my external webcam, my Logitech, and I can test it, and you guys can see here I am, still here, and I can close that, and I can go into my audio gear setup. So as I do this, it's gonna kind of rescan and see what I've got. So if I go into add new gear, this is where you're going to get this all set up. So it's going to check some stuff and look for things. And right now it didn't really know what I want. So I'm going to choose the built-in microphone, and I'm going to choose in the built-in output as well. And so what I see right now as I'm doing this is that I have a terrible latency. So I'm going to try something else. Let's try the default input and see what that does. So that made it a little bit less for me. Now I'm going to try my Yeti, which is the current microphone that I'm using right now. Now, my latency is showing up pretty high, only because I am recording, screen sharing, and the processor is being used and those sorts of things. But what I've found is that you want to use either the built-in or the default. The built-in usually is probably the best option. Of course, it's not going to be the best sound, but it does have the best latency as far as when we're trying to get this all set up. Same thing, I usually do, I think, default on this, and usually I get my latency down pretty far. Again, right now it's not showing up well because I am screen sharing, but what you want is you want to get this to basically around 10 or 11, less if you can. I've gotten it down to 6, so it is possible to get it pretty slow. Are pretty low. You, of course, like this is green, you want this to be green. This is red, saying you cannot do this, it's not going to work. Some of the setup things you need to do is you need to be connected into your modem directly. So with an Ethernet cable into your computer to your modem is going to get that latency down. If your latency is too high, you're not going to be able to play in real time because you will have some lag between what you're hearing from your colleagues that are playing and yourself. So just so you know, make sure that you get both of these in the green or at least in the yellow. That's going to really help. So I'm not going to change my setup because it is already set up, of course, but I'm going to go back to my home and I'm going to show you how to create a session. So you create session. Usually I do quick start with friends. So once I get in here, I can invite people and it's gonna show me how everything's going. So my latency, no good right now, but once I get into the green, we're good to go. And this would show my friends that would be with me. The cool thing is I can turn on my video. Here I am. If I had friends in here, I would be able to see them on this as well. And so we can, cue and do all those things that you need to do with chamber music. So this is Jam Kazam, and again, it's wonderful because we can play chamber music when we are far away.